Okay, so I've got some beef with the movie The Town. If you haven't seen it yet, you should. It's one of the better crime/gangster movies to come out in the past decade or so, and well worth the viewing. It's set in the slummy suburbs of Boston and stars Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner, Slaine from La Coca Nostra, and just some other guy because they needed a fourth to round out the group. John Hamm plays the FBI tough guy trying to crack down on the crew, and Blake Lively plays the drug-addicted sister of Renner and the love interest of Affleck. The crew works for some old florist guy named Fergie who puts all the jobs for them together and takes his cut off the top at the end. Sort of like a mini crime boss per se. So after doing a couple of jobs for Fergie, Ben Affleck tries to basically tell him that he's out of the crew and wants to escape south and move to Florida with his new girl Claire, the manager from the bank they originally robbed and whom he tailed and then struck up a relationship with. It sounds as complicated as you'd think, but they do a good job of explaining it. As Affleck tries to basically tell the florist he's done working for him, Fergie says he'll essentially kill his girlfriend and forces him to do one more job, a big score in which they take down Fenway Park. So Fergie gets the crew together and essentially explains to them that they're going to take down Fenway Park after a 4-game stint with the New York Yankees, earning a rather large payout and
taking down the Cathedral of Boston.
Remember this part as it will all tie together in the end.
On Monday morning, after a 4-game stand with New York, 60,000 beers, food, merchandise, total haul, $3.5 million.
After that, we see Affleck and Renner taking in a Red Sox game, excluding the other 2 members of the crew, but that's not really the point. Here's where the inconsistency starts. The first thing they say at this game is this.
How long do you think it's going to take Rusty to dump the inside man when this thing's over?
They spend the rest of this shot talking about the heist and beginning to plan it, meaning that they're close to pulling it off but haven't actually done the robbery yet. Meaning that the 4-game series with the Yankees, the series that Fergie said they were waiting until it was completed, must be soon after the game they're attending. We can see in this panning shot that it's obviously a night game that the Red Sox are the home team. It's tough to make out, but based on the 15 in the upper left-hand corner and 2B in the upper right-hand corner, along with the partially blurry headshot, that we're looking at Dustin Pedroia at the plate. Another small note is Pedroia has a 1-2 count on him, and that we can see from afar there's a runner on first base during his at-bat. As we get a close-up of Renner talking, we can see that the scoreboard has changed despite the Red Sox still hitting. Contingency stuff like this has always bothered me in movies, but this actually helps our point in the grand scheme of things. I couldn't make out exactly who it was, but it's not only a member of the Toronto Blue Jays, but it's also a hitter because when Renner turns his head, you can see his batting average right past his face. We then cut to an overhead shot of David Ortiz at bat, and just as he swings, it cuts again to Blake Lively watching the game on a TV in a bar. Looking at the game, the Blue Jays are leading 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning against a right-handed Toronto Blue Jays pitcher. Ortiz hooks a ball into the right field corner, and we can hear the broadcast say that Kevin Youkilis goes first to third, and Snyder fields the ball and throws it in.
Line into right field, a base hit. Youkilis is headed for third base. Snyder takes it out. Youkilis stands at third. First and third, nobody out.
Okay, so now we got a little bit of context into this game that they were at. We've got the Red Sox home at night against the Toronto Blue Jays, down 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning, in which David Ortiz singles, Kevin Youkilis is on first base, Travis Snyder is playing right field, and Dustin Pedroia is playing in the game. Principal filming for The Town began in August of 2009, and the film came out in September of 2010. That means that this game has to be between those dates. Affleck and Renner were actually at a baseball game when this was shot, and that game was August 28, 2009. Everything that the film shows to this part holds true in that said game. Earlier on, Dustin Pedroia did have a 1-2 count on him in the bottom of the 1st inning, with Jacoby Ellsbury on first base. The Blue Jays started a right-hander in Scott Richmond, and he would carry a 3-0 lead into the bottom of the 4th inning, in which Kevin Youkilis led off with a single to put him on first base in front of David Ortiz. Ortiz would pull the second pitch he saw of that at-bat into right field that was fielded by Travis Snyder and advanced Youkilis to third. Stay with me here. So we have a date as to when Renner and Affleck were at this game, and still planning their heist of Fenway Park. August 28th, 2009. This late in the season normally means that divisional opponents are in town, so they must have an important series coming up against the Yankees, right? That's less than a month left in the season, and Fergie wants to make this score count. By his rationale, a 4-game series with the Yankees with a playoff push on the line in September would be the perfect heist. But for the rest of the 2009 season, the Red Sox would only play the Yankees 3 more times, all 3 of those in New York. Alright, that's fine. Maybe they're planning the heist for early in the 2010 season. Schedules aren't out yet, but maybe they can guess a 4-game series at home would happen. The Red Sox open up at home against the Yankees in a 3-game set, but it's not 4 like Fergie had said. They would see the Yankees in a 4-game series in August of 2010, but that again would be in the Bronx and not at Fenway Park. As we said, if Affleck and Renner were at a Red Sox game on August 28, 2009, then it would be extremely difficult for the Red Sox to guess their schedule for not only 2010, but any year past that. The next time the Yankees would be in Boston for a 4-game series against the Red Sox wouldn't be until 2012, 2 years after the movie's release date and 3 years after they were at that ballgame. That 4-game set in 2012 would be from July 6th to July 8th, one of those days being a rain-out doubleheader. If you're thinking that Fergie meant the New York Mets when he said,
after a 4-game stand with New York,
the Red Sox and Mets have only played each other 10 times since August 28, 2009, and the only time they ever played 4 times in one season, let alone 4 games in one ballpark, was this year in 2020, when teams are only allowed to play locational-based opponents. The moral of this video is that the town has been lying and deceiving you for the decade in which it's been out. Fergie sends his ragtag crew out on a mission that logistically never happened and used the Yankees' name and their rivalry as a way of trying to magnify the job in which they're planning. I actually commend the movie for using the same game they filmed at, as well as the one on the TV in the bar scene, but they should have checked the schedule or made it just a 3-game series instead of 4 to make it more realistic and more likely to happen. Nice try, Fergie. I'm glad that Dougie McRae clipped you.
Rubber moon clipped you, and that's for you.